Pittsburg State is the next exhibition game for our basketball team, and I'm sure our guys are looking forward to getting back on the floor, playing someone other than practicing. And I'd like to see us hopefully come out and get off to a better start. I thought we'd start off a little sluggish, you want to say, or just a little tight, and probably because some guys were starting that probably didn't know they were starting until right before the game. But I thought overall, guys came off the bench and gave us some quality minutes, and we want to see the same thing. We still think the strength of this team is the numbers, the depth that we have, and we want to continue to exert that on the opponents.
Is perimeter defense a concern after that last game? Just with the
I think we got to get better at it. I think we didn't do a very good job, whether it be switching or getting the ball out of the ball handler's hands and rotating to the shooters. So it's always something to be working on. I mean, we've got to work on that. We got to work on keeping dribble penetration. Guys out of the lane, which is the hardest thing to stop is dribble penetration. But we got to have that second line of defense, and we saw that in the second half. We want to see more of what took place in the second half than it did the first half.
Yeah, Anthony was saying perimeter defense had been a big emphasis in practice since that game. A game like that, does it help you get the guys' attention on stuff like that?
Well, you're going to have teams guys can shoot the basketball, and of course with the aggressive defense that we play, it's going to allow some guys to be open. But we want to make sure that we can rotate and get to those guys and contest the shots. You don't want to have wide open shots, and as guys get going or making shots, then we got to make the adjustment to whether we get the ball out their hands or make them shoot them from greater distance. And we make them shoot long shots, they're going to be long rebounds. We want to get those rebounds and be in transition offensively and just be in attack mode. I think that's going to be the big key.
It just happened to be the second game for them at Durham and Jabril. I mean, that Durham and Beard are both more settled than the last game.
I really feel that all those guys that played, I think they'll be a little bit more comfortable in going out and going out and playing. Just it's one of those things. They've just got to get out there and have that experience, and that's what these exhibition games are for.
Harris is a guy who's clearly not afraid to go get a basket for you, but does that come with some concern about shot selection? And if so, how do you strike the balance and maybe taking a better percentage shot?
He will be fine. I think his strengths is attacking that basket, and we saw him especially in a half court. And he's a guy that's going to be on the free throw line, so we talked about him getting in really working on his free throws. Every now and then the guy's going to take a bad shot. I mean, it's you can control a lot of things, but you can't control everything. But I think he knows what good shots are, as well as our other guys. Now, they're going to take some bad ones, and of course that's where the coaching comes in at. Now, I will remind them what is a good shot.
I guess in reviewing a game film, and did you guys ever come close to having a shot clock violation with that 30-second shot clock?
We came close to one. I think we ended up turning it over. I think Beard, they passed the ball probably around about 10, 12 times, and I think Beard penetrated and gave a guy a bounce pass. They stole it. But that was the closest, I think, to a violation in terms of the shot clock.
Red, white game, one exhibition game. I know that's not a lot, but what's been your thoughts on that shot clock? What impact has it had, if any?
To me, because like I said, it hadn't affected us. It didn't affect the team that played the other night. So I guess I know I have more data. I'll be like the NCAA. I have more data after the next game.
I know the SEC coaches and I guess the ACC coaches voted to use it in experimental phase. I guess in those discussions at the meetings, what was everybody's feeling about adding a 30-second clock?
Well, it's something that was, I guess, started at the national, the officials ruling committee. It started with them, and so it's something that probably is going to come down the pike. When you think about it, it's something. It's a 35-second clock right now. And I'm sure it's going closer toward the NBA game. And what would be better than a 30-second clock? The speed, the game, the excitement of the game. I'm sure that's what the thought pattern is. I don't know specifically what it is, but that's what I feel.
Do you expect that to maybe be added within a couple of years? Is that realistic?
I have no idea, Bob.
But you'd be in favor if it was added, it sounds like.
20-second clock, Bob.
You talked about Keaton Miles a little bit the other night, but what do you think about what he did just getting out there for the first time in really a while in a game?
Well, people have heard about him, and you saw him last year in the red-white game, but hadn't seen him in actual game. So to see him, you see the slashing mentality that he brings to our basketball team. A guy that's athletic, really quick to the ball, can block shots. I think defensively he does a really good job of moving his feet. He's just an experienced guy, and took some good shots the other day. Got a couple offensive rebounds that he put back in there. So that's good to see. That, to me, what he does is can hopefully add another dimension. If you think about Cody just did so many things for our basketball team. I think Keaton even had a couple of assists. So if we keep having guys give us this, and something that we hadn't had, it makes our team even more stronger.
You guys had 12 block shots. I know that was Central Oklahoma and Kentucky, whoever, but how does that impact your defensive, being able to get out in people's faces when you feel like you've got some shot blocking power back there?
Well, when we put pressure on the perimeter, obviously guys are going to penetrate, and so to have someone back there that can time it and block shots is big. But what's even bigger is when you block those shots and you come up with them, and we did that. That turned into some transition offense for us.
The women have been using a 30-second shot clock forever. I mean, have you ever, watched a women's game and thought, why don't we use that? Or why do the women use that and we don't use it? Has that ever come into your head? No. Mostly if the women use it, the men could be pretty good at it too.
Well, I'm sure it's about bringing excitement to the game. I think that's what it does. It speeds the game up. And of course, for us, we're a pressing team, so it certainly can work to our advantage.
Kind of lineups, playing around with the lineup, are you going to do this game, and do you know kind of what you want to do and who works best together?
Well, as we get closer to to playing, I think you start kind of settling in, and so we'll probably hopefully settle in the lineup. I'll know more after the practice tomorrow, but I got an idea. There's about 7, 8 guys that we look at who would be those guys that'll start out. But yesterday, the other night, you got a chance to see that lineup that came out in the second half. I thought that was a pretty good lineup. And not only that lineup, but the guys that came in. And when they came in and what they brought to the table, I thought was very, very good. We saw a lot more continuity with the lineup in the second half as opposed to the first half.
Manuel Watkins, I know with Kai out, one reason why he played as much, but do you see a role for him?
Oh, we saw it. I thought you saw a guy, this energy guy, defensively, just hawking the ball. He's everywhere. He's a kamikaze guy. His body means nothing to him. He's going to sacrifice it for the team. So we need some guys that can really guard on the perimeter, and he is a big guard that can do that. He's a blue-collar guy. So, yes, he certainly has a role. We got to have guys that are going to get in the trenches. We got the guys. I feel we can score. Now we got to have those guys that are going to stop people, and he's one of those guys that has that mindset.
I guess you got the early signing period coming up. What are your thoughts on that?
It's tomorrow.
I know you can't mention names, but how do you feel about the early signing period, how you guys are going to do?
We feel good about where we are. We feel good about where we are right now.